Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review, and as promised in my top 13 action figures of 2023 video I posted earlier this week, today we're taking a look at the Universal Monsters Ultimate Bela Lugosi as Count Dracula, blah blah blah. You don't actually say that. That said, this of course is brought to us by the fine folks over at NECA Toys, and yeah, spoiler alert, I love this figure. If you missed my top 13 action figures of 2023 video I did earlier this week, then please go check that out. I would really appreciate it. If you did, I put a lot of work into those videos, not only deciding what goes into the top 13, but also they're a little bit more well crafted than a lot of the reviews on this channel, because those are a big deal. They're a big, source of traffic, we'll say, for my channel. I get a lot of views on those videos because of the way I do them and what I put into them. So I would appreciate it, if you haven't seen it already, that is, to check it out when you can, of course. I know everyone's got lives, except for me. So I completely understand if you missed it. That said, before I get too far ahead of myself here, why don't we cut right to the chase, get into meat and taters of this review, and take a look-see at all Count Dracula, the original Prince of Darkness, not to be confused with Ozzy Osbourne. I'm having another flashback. Shine! Ball lightning! Has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with this pair of claw hands, kind of creepy monster hands. There you go. You also get a singular grip hand with the wrong hinge for holding stuff, might I add, but I guess it's fine, because I don't really intend to use that. We also get a couple different portraits of the late great Bela Lugosi here. One of them's a little PO'd. Debating on which head I use, though. I'm undecided at the moment. A little sad we didn't get a scrape and lick head, but I guess that wasn't in the original Dracula movie, huh? We also get this little candle, which I'm a bit perplexed as to how he's supposed to hold properly. I just kind of wedged the thumb in this little loop here, have him hold on to the bottom of it, and that's pretty much it. It just kind of sits in his hand. He doesn't hold it, and you can't take the candle out as far as I know. It's all one solid piece, and you want to be careful with that, because you can probably easily break that thing. That said, we do get a plate I'm going to smack you over the head with if you try to pull a stake on him. Kidding, of course. It is obviously meant for these little chalices, so if you want to have your own King Diamond music video with your 6 to 7 inch scale action figures like some kind of metal nerd on the internet, you can do that. And before you judge what I do in my pastime, no, I haven't done that yet. Tempted now. And we also get a bottle of wine. I can only assume this is red wine. Get it? Because it looks like blood. A very cool accessory. I almost think that grip hand's meant more for this, but I could be wrong. But taking a closer look at, before I forget, Numbskull, we'll take a closer look at Bela Lugosi, but as a bat. Yeah, this wasn't sitting with the other accessories, so whoopsie, almost forgot. Because I'm so excited about this figure, I not paying attention to what I'm doing here. Because I'll tell you what, I was worried I wasn't going to be able to get a hold of this guy unless I went through Entertainment Earth and spent like $100 to get free shipping. Thankfully, Mr. Brian was able to find this buried at our local Target towards the arse end of the NECA section, so shout out to him for that. That said, we've got a little bat form Bela Lugosi Dracula here that is on a ball peg, so you could tilt and pivot back and forth and side to side and whatnot. You can turn it, but I wouldn't really recommend that, just because this is a clear, hard plastic rod that's relatively thin. You don't want to break that thing. But really cool and really tall. I mean, this thing is freaking tall. I'm used to flight stands going up to like the waist or the chin of a figure, but not this high. At least when they are meant for like an accessory character or something like that. We'll say Headpool from Marvel Legends. His flight stand is not very big at all. Setting that aside. Now we'll actually take a closer look at human form, or vampire form, Bela Lugosi, and the likeness is uncanny to the man. It's probably the best Bela Lugosi likeness we've gotten, not from like a Sideshow Hot Toys deal. So I think they did a bang-up job with that. I love the cape. It's a nice spandex material. Spandex? I don't know. Spam? You don't have any spam? Monty Python reference. But it's a nice stretchy material. It doesn't tear. It doesn't fray. Light doesn't pass through it very well. It's a very, very nice cape. I love this cape. If you're not going to do wired soft goods, this is the way to go. This is the best material to use. It even has like the red on the inside. So excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Love this cape. And it just kind of clips onto the back of his collar here. Right there. If you can see where my finger is. It just kind of clips on back there. It's just like a little tab. And sticks out a bit from the collar piece. And it just goes right in there. So, very, very nice. Very nice indeed. The rest of the paint and sculpt is just fine, I think. He's wearing a tux, of course, so he's ready to go out on the Transylvania streets in style there. I always thought Dracula was the most pimpin' of the classic Universal monsters, but if you want to talk big pimpin', London After Midnight's where it's at. He's got the cape and the frickin' top hat. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head is on the double ball peg. I will say he can look down better than he can look up with the cape on. Without the cape, he can look up just fine. You can kind of flex it, but I don't want to pop it out. So I'm just going to leave it be. But he can rotate, he can tilt. But everything is pretty hindered by the cape collar, which is a hard plastic, which understandably so, how else is going to stay on. But he does have a double ball peg in the base of the neck as well. That said, shoulders will go out about that far. Yeah, about that far. Back down. They will rotate forward and back. He does have a single elbow, which is about 90 degrees with rotation. He's got swivel hinge wrists. All the wrists, again, have the same hinge. There is no up and down hinge on any of the hands, even the grip hand, which, again, kind of sucks, but I'm not going to use it anyway, so who really cares? As far as the torso goes, he does get a decent amount of crunch, considering he's just one big trunk as far as his shirt and his coat goes. Actually, it feels like separate pieces. Maybe that's just how good the sculpt is, but he can crunch forward a little bit. He can crunch back a tiny bit. He can tilt a little bit, and he can rotate. So it's very, very good for what it is. It's Bela Lugosi Dracula. He's not going to be doing like ninja flips and crap like the Orlando Bloom looking guy from Dracula Untold, or even the Castlevania Dracula. So, you know, keep your socks on there, buddy. As far as the legs go, he can kick out to the side pretty well. Almost better than some Spider-Man figures. They do have a little squeak, but nothing major. I don't feel the need to loosen this up. But he can kick forward and back. He does have a thigh cut up in there. And when I say squeak, some NECA figures with these ball socket hips slip stick. And this guy doesn't do that. The Creature from the Black Lagoon Leonardo, the Invisible Man, and the Wolfman I have, all of those had a slip stick hip situation, so I put a dab of soap in there, loosened it right up. I think even a couple of the gargoyles I had that problem, but either way, it's fixed now, so it does not matter. It's in the past. As far as his knee goes, he's got a single joint there. Gives you about 90. And then he does rotate at the knee, as well as a hinge in the foot with a rocker, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet if you want to put them on a stand. I know NECA makes stands, but McFarlane stands do work on these guys since they are 7-inch scale. But yeah, man, I love this figure. This figure's awesome. It's definitely one of the top figures from last year in my book. If you're into this sort of thing, the classic Universal monsters or horror or vampires and stuff in general, you're missing out not picking this guy up. He is awesome. Dang near perfect. I will say, the Jada Toys version of Bela Lugosi Dracula, it's a little stylized, but you know what it's supposed to be, had a cooler, kind of open mouth, fangs out head. I kind of wish we had something like that here, but I feel like Bela Lugosi is very subtle. He doesn't go full bore, like vampire monster, like some later iterations of the character. And I did see they're making a Christopher Lee Dracula, so maybe that'll be worth picking up, because then I can have Dracula shed blood of Saxon men. 4,000 Saxon men, to be exact. But, bringing in our two regulars before we wrap this up here. Here is Bela Lugosi as Count Dracula, blah, blah, blah. I don't actually say that. Alongside Brother Mandibilith and the infamous K11 Spawn, who is about neck and neck in terms of height. But you know what else they're neck and neck at? Color palette. So yes, good old Bela Lugosi Dracula here is a card-carrying member of the Men in Red and Black Club. I would say a premium member, based on how much he's got going on, especially with that awesome span, whatever you want to call it, Dex cape. So that being said, it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and look, do I even have to do a full-fledged final thoughts for this review? I mean, if you saw my top 13 action figures of 2023 video I did earlier this week to celebrate 1 year of posting one video every single day for 366, because it's a leap year, days in a row, 2 on Tuesdays, then you know darn well what I think of this figure. It is an amazing release from the fine folks over at NECA Toys' Universal Monsters line, and if you are at all a fan of the late, great Bela Lugosi, or the Universal Monsters property, or just vampires and Dracula in general, then you need to have this in your collection. If not, something wrong with you, and you missing out, son. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.